It's mostly science and fiction. Mostly.
Holy moly! When you die, what happens? In the real world, most probably nothing, except, you know, you turn into maggot and tree food. Or dust. Some people turn to get real dusty. But the real world can be pretty shit sometimes, so let's look at fake worlds. Movie worlds! The discovery tells us that after death, something does happen. I'll just smash out the plot bits and explain those before talking about the reincarnation aspect. So yeah, it's reincarnation, the whole thing is about reincarnation, but with a twist. Quick plot. Robert Redfart proved to the world that energy, your consciousness, leaves the body after you die. In the movie, this is a fact. Your mind or soul or whatever definitely goes someplace else after death. But we are never really told how he proved this in the film, but it's not important how he proved it, just that he did. But after you die, where does your soul go? Well, nobody bloody knows, mate, but that doesn't stop a whole bunch of people from killing themselves to try to get there. Like, a whole bunch. So this dude, Will, played by Marshall Erickson, who is the son of Redfart, is an afterlife skeptic. It's not that he doesn't believe in it, more that it might not be such a good thing. You might end up in hell, or in a dark nothingness, like an eternal black void, or something bad. He just thinks that people shouldn't be going around killing themselves. He goes to meet his dad after some time apart to try to convince him to tell everyone that he was wrong, that there is no afterlife, in the hope that the mass suicides will stop. We later find out that his mum committed suicide, and this is probably why he is so passionate about stopping it. But more on that later. Anyway, he meets this chick, Isla, on a boat and mentions that she looks pretty familiar. This is an important comment for later, but at the time we think nothing of it. Anyway, she tries to kill herself and Marshall saves her. Blah blah blah, a whole bunch of stuff happens, who cares? You've seen this movie, let's get to the explainy part. After fucking around with his dad's machine for a bit, Will and the gang set out to gather more information. But the machine is very dangerous and can cause people to get severely brain damage, especially after multiple use. So instead of testing the machine on a live person, they decide to get a dead cunt to experiment on. That's why they needed to steal a cadaver. After testing it out on the dead person, they find a video. The machine shows them a video. It shows a scene from a hospital. A memory, perhaps? At least that's what it looks like. Will then believes that the machine does not record the afterlife, but instead just memories. His dad was wrong all along? Nope, his dad was right. Sucked in Will, eat a dick. It does record the afterlife, in a way. We learn this because of inconsistencies in the video and the cadaver's real life, such as the corpse has a different tattoo, and him not returning to the hospital when they go and find out, and all kinds of other stuff. So then, what has the machine captured? This is the first twist in the packet of twisties. The machine shows us that there are multiple realities, multiple dimensions, multiverses, or whatever you want to call it. Parallel universes, that's the one. Twist number 2. Thomas jumps on the machine and flatlines, you know, like in the movie Flatliners. Side note, they're making a sequel and it should be out this year. Cool? Thomas then lands in one of the parallel universes, but kind of like a limbo. But guess what? It's not so much a parallel universe, but an alternate universe you can enter when you die. Twist! So this twist tells us that when you die, you enter into the past of your own life. You can then go about making changes and fixing shit or whatever. The problem is, you don't take your memories with you, not really, unless you enter the limbo state like Thomas did. It's kind of like reincarnation, except you don't come back later on in the future or get reborn, you kind of go back and relive your life. This is known as the eternal return, also known as eternal recurrence. It's a concept that the universe and all existence and energy has been reoccurring and will continue to recur in a self-similar form an infinite number of times across an infinite time or space. So in other words, when you die, you go back in the past to fix your shit. So, final twist! Lila gets shot by one of the fanatics and Marshall is like, nah, fuck that, mate. So he jumps on the machine and enters the limbo state so he can go back in time to save her. He wakes up on the boat, but this time he has his memories. Why does he have his memories? It's not really clear, but we assume it's because he's not really dead, but kind of limbo dead. Anyway, Lila tells him that he has lived this occurrence many times to try to save her, as the first time they met, he didn't get off the boat and stop her suicide. So Marshall has lived many lives, and in his very first life, he never stopped Lila from killing herself. He later learned of her death through a newspaper, and it really bummed him out, man. So when he dies, he goes back in time to the point where he met. So this is the final twist! When you die, if you have unfinished business, you will return to it in order to change it for the better, to, in a way, right your wrongs, to unburden your soul. The problem with this is that you don't have your bloody memories. So it may take trillions of attempts before you nail it. So it's kind of dumb. He is eternally stuck in this loop trying to save her. Not really sure why. I mean, I think she's kind of annoying. I'd be fine if she tried to off herself. But anyway, he even asks her how many times has he been in this loop. Isla said,
"Oh yeah, quite a few times. Yeah, a few times,
and then tells Marshall that he finally did it. He finally saved her. And that's the current version we saw. And that now she can move on, and I guess so can he. And that next time he dies, he's going to wake up in a different spot. So this limbo universe is kind of like a novel. You can finally get all your information, but I don't know, I don't like it. Marshall then wakes up on a beach, so we assume that he died, either on the machine or later on in life. So again, he goes back in time, but to a different spot where he meets Isla again. She's a kid, and they don't recognize each other. Well, he kind of does, but it's all a bit fuzzy. Twist! Well, that's not really a twist. So basically, here's how the universe works in this movie. When you die, you go back in time to a point that was troubling your soul. It seems that if you rectify this point, if you fix the trouble, next time you die, you will end up in a different place. Basically, you keep going back in time to a point in your own history over and over again. So what happens after that? No one knows. Maybe if you live a perfect life, you ascend into nirvana, to a different state of existence. Maybe not. Maybe we are all doomed to repeat this shit life over and over again. The Buddhists believe that when you die, you come back again in one form or another, depending on how much pussy you got. No, I mean depending on your actions. So if you are a nice person, you might come back as a wealthy goat herder. If you're a total piece of shit, you might come back as a dung beetle forced to eat shit every day. In each life, we must try to better ourselves in order to reach enlightenment. This way, when we die, we can enter nirvana. It's like heaven, but better. Let's call it super heaven. At least that's what the Buddhists believe. Maybe it was Hindus, I don't know, who cares. In this movie, maybe after you die and you've fixed all of your life's problems, you will enter heaven. Otherwise, it's pretty grim. You're doomed to live the same life over and over again. That kind of sucks, man. Man, this shit really fucking pisses my brain off. Like, infinity is kind of annoying. So what if your mum returns to a point in time and doesn't give birth to you? Then you don't exist in that timeline, but do you exist in other timelines? But what if you don't exist in that timeline? But then, if you did die and go back, what if she has a different kid? What if there are just trillions and zillions of fucking infinite amount of people everywhere all the time, because people go back in time and make different life choices, which ultimately changes the future? So what happens in the past, like Shakespeare people? Like, there's this timeline, everything happens. What if he never gave birth? What if Hitler won and he changed his life? What if he never existed? Then there'd be a whole bunch more Jewish people running around. What if there wasn't? What if he won and there was no Jews? So all those lives, and then their kids and their kids and kids. So it's basically an infinite amount of infinite possibilities. And are all these people going back in time? There's got to be multiple wheels going back in time all the time, fixing things. I don't know, man. It's kind of annoying. I don't like it. No, it's just no. I'm done. I'm gonna go eat a big bowl of Indian food and watch Stargate Atlantis reruns. Fuck this movie and fuck you. Nah, you're alright. What did you think is going on in this movie? Leave a comment if you want, or don't. Maybe you already did in a past version of your life. Maybe you're coming back to not leave the comment, or maybe you're coming back in time to leave the comment. Oh, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with this shit, man. Fuck this. Jesus.
Lieutenant, we're in a time slip, transported back hundreds of years.